just sat for a good 90 minutes and it didn't feel like that.
No, it's flown by.
Literally has gone so quickly.
What do you think stood out?
I want to go back to passion. One of the things we were going to touch on is what gets us up in the morning. That's a good question. I know everything I tell my guys, I know why I'm telling it. But then when that got relayed back at me, I was like, wow. And it came down to, I get up in the morning for my guys, for the job I do, the reason I do it, the passion I have. I want to see them achieve whatever they want to achieve. And that's what gets me up in the morning. So everything we've touched on here, confidence, it can be motivation, it can be adherence, it can be intensity, it can be competition, it can be just somebody to go and have a nice chat with when they need a nice chat. But it's not this big scary place. I think that's what we need to touch on. It's not this big scary place that you shouldn't go. It's something that you should reap the reward, reap that benefit of, and fully immerse yourself and learn from your failures and learn from you being outside your comfort zone.
I think probably the new year, new me, but not starting in the new year. If you've got a goal, if you're thinking of doing something, if you're forever saying to yourself, I'm going to start Monday, I'll start next week, I'll start when I've got some money to buy a new gym outfit, I'll start when I can buy new trainers. It's like you're forever giving yourself an excuse to not start, you're just procrastinating it. So I think just starting that doesn't mean you have to come into the gym. You could just start by getting some more walks in every day, going out for 20 minutes walks and just build it up. And I think finding something you enjoy. Yeah, I think there's something I've probably realised about myself is there's no one size fits all with fitness. What I enjoy doing for fitness is what someone else would hate to do. Like one of my friends, she enjoys going to salsa classes, so that's what she does for her fitness because she enjoys it. For me, I've got no coordination, so I wouldn't want to do that. But obviously I tried powerlifting and I enjoyed that for the time it lasted, but then I wanted something new. So it's not even like you have to pick one thing and stick with it. You can try different things. I think that's the beauty of it. If you want to try something, you can give it a go. Like, I mean, CrossFit's massive now, isn't it? That's like a community-based sport. So it's, if people don't want to come to a gym and be by themselves, there's lots of group. I think like group fitness is becoming really popular because you've got that support, you've got that community with it. So I think you can only benefit from moving your body.
Yeah.
So I think it's just doing something.
Make sure to give Karl and Leah a follow. And if you've not already given Fitness and Thinking a like, subscribe, drop comments, please do that. It helps the algorithm and everyone to know that what we're doing is worthwhile. New year, new me, I think is going to be a massive topic in a couple of weeks. What do people get wrong? Why is it good, I think, to talk about it now, would you say?
So I feel like where people go wrong is starting in the new year. Because the gym, especially a commercial gym, is just hell. Like, it's so busy. Everybody wants to start in January. And if you are a woman coming into that environment, it can be so daunting. And if you've got like these goals, like I want to lose weight, I want to tone up, and then you come into the gym and there's just people everywhere, you'll just go straight to the treadmill and then go home. So you're actually not going to get any further with that goal. So I feel like if you can start in December, build those good habits before Christmas, you can almost enjoy Christmas knowing that you'll get back on track in January, already having set those routines in place and got used to the gym and that environment.
No, I think Leah on her Instagram made a really nice post about this kind of concept as well recently. And I've actually used it with a lot of clients. I've always got on my profile, my motto is just start. Like, as in, like, why wait till Monday? I hate that vibe of why wait till Monday. And Leah's recently done a post similar to do with New Year. Don't wait till January. You know, don't wait till Monday. Just start. Wouldn't it be really, really like cool or rewarding to not have to start in January like everyone else? You've already got a head start. You're already feeling more comfortable. And like Leah says, with women in particular, going into a crazy busy gym. I mean, even as coaches, it's hell. It's hell. There's like juggling the flow of your sessions, the confidence of you guys, the energy of you guys is disturbed when it's so busy in January. So if you've already got that head start, I think that's where you can go right and not go wrong as per the question.
You're both in Pure Gym still?
Yes.
In city centre. 2024, 2023 were my Januaries, but 2024 I was a full-time coach, had my online clients. I had never been in a gym ever as busy as that.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out how each of my clients between the hours of 5 and 7 were going to have the best session they possibly could as beginners.
Yeah.
Who I'm going to make sure aren't going to be intimidated by this space, was wild. And actually what I found, I don't know if you have found this as well, is that maybe a better month almost, and this is going to sound like a bit frictive against your statement, Karl, but February is a better month for me as a coach.
I completely agree.
Because the gym's quieter all of a sudden.
Yeah.
and now I can move around my clients and they have a good time. So actually, if your first experience of the gym is December or February, how much more likely is it that you're going to feel, oh, the gym is a place for me? Yeah. Whereas if you go in January when it's hell month, basically, that's not what the gym is. But if that's what you think it is and you dislike that, well, we dislike that. Yeah. No wonder you don't want to keep up with it. We're paid to be there, you're not.
Yeah. I've said to a lot of my guys, like, you are, the habits you created in December that are obviously with me at the moment, you are doing it at one of the hardest time of the years, in the sense of you've got so many things to juggle. But if you can make that little push for me now or up until the end of the year and just be proud of maybe not necessarily progressing every single week like people are so into, and just going, right, let's maintain, let's keep on track when it would be so easy not to, because that'll stand you in really good stead in January. I agree. Like I said, obviously when we're trying to juggle it, you've got like a lot of people that are 9 to 5. They have to come in at certain times around it, and because of this, the gym is it being in the city centre. Both of us, it is a heavily populated gym. There's a lot of foot flow, and that's just tenfold in January when people want to do it themselves. Obviously, a couple of weeks in, they realise maybe they do need the help of people like us, which is great. But all of that could be resolved, or not all of it, but could be improved by starting sooner.
What do you think, Leah, gets in the way of people starting?
Probably confidence.
Yeah.
And finances.
Okay.
Because I've had a lot of consultations and they seem really interested, and then the second you mention finances, it's like, ooh, they take a bit of a step back. And I think everyone has different affordability, but I think if it's something that's really important to you, I think people can sort of juggle things around to make it work, even if you just do it for a month, just so you can learn some new things, build some habits. So I think finances, especially it being like a predominantly based like student gym as well. We get a lot of students, so they'll probably come for a couple of months and then they'll have to take a break because their student finance hasn't come in yet, which obviously is frustrating because then they're getting out of the routine with it if they're like having a month off here and there. Yeah. But also you have to understand that they're not on a salary, they don't have a job necessarily. So it's sort of juggling that. But yeah, I think confidence, especially a lot of my clients being women, they come in and they're just like, I don't know where to start. And the amount of them that will come into the entrance, turn left and just go on the cardio because they don't go into the right bit of the gym because it's like, oh, all the big scary men are there. And then it's my job to show them that they're not big scary men. And yes, you might get some that are a little bit rude, a bit scary, but you get that everywhere in life. Like, not everyone is going to be nice. But it's showing them what you can do in that area. And I think once people have got a routine and once they know where the different machines are, and, oh, if that machine's taken, Leah said I can do this instead, and they've got alternatives, I think that builds them with confidence. It's just having the knowledge. And when they, speak to people around the gym, like Helen, the manager, she's fab, like she'll speak to everyone. So if I'm in a session with my client, she'll come and say hello. So it's like they've then got another familiar face when they come into the gym. They already know someone.
I think that's really interesting you touch on that, because obviously that is almost like from a coach perspective as well. I think nowadays, in particular, a lot of us as a population have selective affordability, and unless we put value on something, we often put it to a side, myself included. If I'm like, okay, that's not super beneficial right now, I'll put it to the side, I'll come back to it, and I don't come back to it. Yeah. And I feel like we shouldn't put our fitness and our health to the side, whether it's with a coach like myself and Leah, or on your own. Like Leah said, obviously confidence and the knowledge or the know-how to get in the gym and do it on your own, that's the question mark. And then it's up to us to put value on them starting PT or them starting their journey somehow.
What is the value though? So we've got right here 3 people professionally paid to coach. We will always come up against this question of value and worth, and sometimes we'll be compared to each other for our hourly rates. We don't think like that. No. And as you said, Karl, you're talking about value in a sense that it pushes out of the gym almost. Yeah. It's your health, it's your life, it's bigger than picking things up and putting them down.
It has to be more than just the short term. So I say to a lot of my guys in my consultations often, I say, I don't care how long you're with me. I really don't, because if I offer enough value to you in the sense that you benefit enough in that time that you could go on and spread your wings or whatever the saying is, and that'll benefit you in the long term, I've done my job and I'm happy, and that's sort of why I do it. like I said, it's up to us to add value. It's up to us always to want to find something for them to improve, even if it's little details. It doesn't have to be how strong they are physically. It could be mentally, emotionally, how much they enjoy the fitness, how much confidence Leah touched on they have. And if they gain that in a month or two, then, you know, happy days. We've done our job. We've added the value, and they then can continue that journey and probably learn more after than during. But we've got to learn from our mistakes, and we've got to learn from being uncomfortable anyway. You just need that little push to get going sometimes. And again, we can give them that confidence or that safe zone when they may feel a little bit lacking in the gym. Like Liam touched on, women being a little bit nervous of the big scary men that really don't care a lot of the time what you're up to. I know my opinion of it is you're doing something. So whenever any of my guys say to me about this sort of topic, I go, but you're doing something. And there's a lot of people that's not. So there's a lot to take from that as well.
Yeah. You're working in a women's only gym as well.
Yes,
is that right?
I am.
What's the feeling like there when we talk about confidence, we talk about women's confidence not turning right? Is that something that feels different in a women's only space?
100%. When the women that come in to enhance, I think they just immediately feel safe because it's a smaller space, the building is as well. It's not like they have to navigate their way through to a machine or the studio where the class is going to be held. Like, you walk through the door and it's like me or Hannah, who owns Enhance, will greet you at the door. You literally come through to the gym. There's a little cozy area where you can sit down, change your shoes, take your coat off, whatever. And like the gym is literally just there. And then we put the music on. There's a maximum of 6 women at a time.
Okay.
And then either me or Hannah coaching it. So it's like a small environment, but it's like a community. So people will have certain sessions that they come to week in, week out, and then they'll like get to know the other women that come, and they sort of like just support each other, help each other along. And there's not sort of like one particular woman that comes to enhance. It's just a mix of all different types of women. A lot of them have had children before, so it's like 45 minutes to themselves where they can get away from their kids and actually just feel good about themselves. And it's nice because you can offer them alternatives. And it's not like they're going to feel embarrassed if they couldn't do something. Whereas if they were at Pure Gym, for example, they might try a machine and feel like, oh, I'm doing it wrong. And they're sort of just like left to their own devices. Whereas here, we literally run through the session with them. So you can spend a bit more one-to-one time with them, but they still get that group community aspect of it as well. So it's just really lovely. And you can see like week in, their confidence just building and they're getting stronger. And it's just really nice. Yeah.
That sounds like really experiential. It sounds like the identity bit, as much I am a woman who's trying to get fit in this space, figuring it out, spending time in community. I wonder if the value seems more obvious in your space because it is all about the feeling of it, whereas in a commercial gym, it's more about the look of it sometimes. You know, and based on that, this question has come up recently. I don't know if you have seen it. Do PTs need to look a certain way?
Do you want to go first or do you want me to?
I'll go first. Yeah. It's a really controversial, it's an awkward question that a lot of people will probably beat around the bush about. I feel to make a great coach, you don't have to look a certain way. My opinions on it, I feel like we should practice what we preach. I feel like we should look a certain way. That's my opinions on it, though. That doesn't make me a better coach than anyone else, because there's a lot of people out there have a lot of different starting points, a lot of different experiences, a lot of different confidences that would not feel as beneficial starting with myself than someone else. Like Leah said, a lot of these women wouldn't think twice about coming to me in their commercial gym, but they've started their journey and they've grown so well, and I'm sure it's very fulfilling for Leah and the women in there. I couldn't have got them that. So I practice what I preach. I try to stay physically fit, in good shape. It's a can of worms. You can go down a rabbit hole with it. I feel like a lot of people look at you and go, you're a PT, you must be in great shape, you must eat like this, you must eat like that. So yeah, it definitely has a very significant role to play, which is why I take that perspective. I am just a normal person as well. So can you get in great shape? Can you look good? Can you motivate people and have balance? Well, I guess that depends that will lead on to how successful you are as a coach. And there should be no shape or size to a coach, just different opinions.
I feel like I'm going to sit on the fence with this because I can see both sides of it, I really can. I think every coach or personal trainer will have their niche of clients, and people will come to you for a specific reason. The clients I get might come to me because they think, oh, I like how Leah looks. Or they might come to me because they think, oh, Leah's really sweet, like she's really lovely, or she can help me because she's got the knowledge. Like, and you'll never truly know why people come to you. But if they come to you and you're getting clients and they feel safe and they feel confident with you, then that's all that matters at the end of the day. And if someone that look completely different to me, it doesn't mean they have less knowledge. It doesn't make them any worse of a personal trainer because they look different. But it is also one of them, like, if you went to a dentist, they always have nice white straight teeth, don't they?
Sure.
It is one of those things where I think if you do look like you're a personal trainer, potentially you'll get more clients. But it also depends what they're wanting from a personal trainer. If their goal isn't aesthetic driven, they might not be bothered how you look, for example.
Leah had a coach herself before becoming a coach. So opens it up to Leah like, okay, so why did you choose this coach? If this is related to this question, why did you choose that coach?
Because she looked like a personal trainer.
There you go.
Yeah.
So,
But that's what I wanted, because my goal initially was aesthetically driven, because I just had such low confidence. I hated the way I looked and I wanted to lose weight. So when I saw this personal trainer, I was like, oh my God, she looks amazing. And I was like, oh my God, look at her biceps, look at her quads. So I'm like, I want that. But that's because my goal was to tone up, was to lose weight. So I think if my goal wasn't aesthetically driven, maybe I would have gone for somebody different. So I think it can help you. And like Karl said, I think you do practice what you preach. I think it's good to say to people, oh, look, I do this outside of work, but also that you have a life, like fully aware that I have stretch marks, I have body fat, I don't have a six pack, I'll not say no to cake, but physically I'm the fittest that I've ever been in my life. So I think it's good to have that range of things. It's like, yes, I do X, Y, and Z, but I also do this outside of the gym. Because then I think it probably touch into this, but it makes you more relatable. Because it's all well and good being like, oh, I do this in the gym and I eat this and I eat this. But if people like Karen works a 9 to 5, she's thinking, there's no way I can do that.
Karen,
It's like,
controversial choice there.
well, that's because you are a Karen, so that's why you'd say that.
Thanks, girl.
But yeah, I think it's good to be relatable, but also it depends on people's goals as well, doesn't it?
I think it's
It
really
really does.
interesting you touch on goals, because I think the way PTs have developed, or the industry has developed, is become far less about just looking fantastic, and it's really impressive the discipline and the graph that goes into these huge physiques, let's say, and that was probably the old school way of looking at it. But what they can make you work really hard, but can they motivate you to get yourself in the gym? Can they relate to you when you're not inside the gym and you're outside the gym and you're just going for a hard time of it? Like, it's our passion, so it's easy for us. It really is easy for us. So the people obviously that don't have that natural or that want, what is the aesthetics to determine how you are as a coach, if that makes sense.
What is the goal, do you think, that most of our clients share?
It's really funny. I have a lot of people joke to me about, people that know me outside my job joke, saying, oh, it's not hard to do your job. And no, it's not. But people make it really hard to adhere to. Our lifestyles make it really hard to adhere to. So a lot of the time it's people's, like we've touched on it already, confidence and know-how. It's, oh yeah, you just go in the gym, you just do this, you do that. But if that's inhibiting you, or that's stopping you getting into the gym, that's why our job is a job. It's like anything. Massage, physiotherapy, chiropractic, it's all there because we make it difficult on ourselves, myself included. Me and Leah, obviously we've trained for competition, we've done different niches, and the body gets beaten down by it. So then you tailor that into a 9-5 job where you sat at a desk. It's much harder than people would give it. So you get a lot of people wanting that confidence, wanting that structure, wanting that motivation. No, sometimes they say to me, well, I know I'm not going to turn up if I don't have to meet you at that time. So okay, great. So then that's up to me to make them want to turn up to the gym. So when people step foot in the door to me, my biggest goal is making them want to step foot in that door. Because that's I say to a lot of my guys, if they've missed a session, it's not that missed session that's the problem, it's the want to get into that session. If you don't have that want, you ain't going to carry on your own. So I had one of my ladies that really struggled with it. She's got a few kids around this time of the year, even more awkward. And she wouldn't do that much on her own before she PT'd with me. She'd go to a class because it was convenient, this, that and the other. And I've tried to really get her to do bits and bobs on her own for confidence, of course, but it was relatable to her goal. Toning, growing glutes, toning core. I said, well, we're going to practice that, don't we? You can't just lean on me. And she missed one because of whatever. And she said to me, I'm absolutely gutted I didn't get in for that. And I was like, there you go, boom, stop there. That's the one. That's the one I need. And that touches on the value we discussed earlier. I've added enough value to make her want to get into that gym, want her to focus on herself, want her to focus on her goals. And you can really grow on that. What about you?
Yeah. I think with my niche of clients, they'll always have a goal, which is like their initial goal, whether it be weight loss, toning up, want to grow my glutes, get stronger. But then the underlying goal is always confidence. All the time. It's like, I've got this goal, but I'm not confident enough to come in and work towards that goal because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yep.
And I had one client, and I think it took her like 2-3 months before she would even come in for her individual session. And she was only with me once a week. And when she did that first session, she was like so proud of herself that she got in for it. And I was being like a little hype girl, like, woo, yes, go for it. And some clients will say to me, like, how do you do it? How are you like confident in the gym? Like, how do you wear shorts when you come to the gym? And my initial reaction is, I just wear the shorts. Yep. I just come in and do my session, because now it's just second nature. I don't think about it. But when I first started, wouldn't wear shorts in the gym. I'd come long leggings, baggy t-shirt, because I just wanted to blend in. Didn't want to stand out. I just wanted to come in a little corner, get it done and go home. But it just, I say to them, it comes with time. And the only reason you're going to get there is doing that first tough session that feels awful. You probably feel like you want to cry and everyone's looking at you, but you have to go through that to get to where I am now. You have to go through them hard sessions of feeling a bit anxious, but that's the only way you're going to get through it, is going in week by week and getting it done. That's the only way you're going to feel better and more confident with it. But people just sometimes don't want to do things that feel uncomfortable or difficult. But I think that's where it's my job to build their confidence with it. And I think with time, you show them more machines. And I think once you know where things are in the gym, you immediately, if you've got a plan to follow as well, if you've got a plan, you know, right, I'm coming in, I'm doing this, this and this, and I know where they are and where I'm going. And for a lot of women, they find it so hard to say to, if someone's on a piece of equipment and it's a man that's in good shape, a lot of my clients will be like, oh, well, someone was using the machine and I couldn't go and ask them how many sets they had left. And I'm like, why? And they're like, because it's scary. I said, but why does it have to be scary? I said, you're just asking them a question. But it just is, especially if like they've got the headphones in and stuff. So it's just little things like that is just second nature to us now. But when people are first starting, it's like such a barrier for them.
It's not going to happen overnight. And a lot of people want it to, but it's not. They go, how are you there? So this isn't there by chance. This isn't there by fluke. Again, we're in different positions, but I've been involved my entire life. So in sport, in fitness, so I can't relate as much as Leah could. So again, it touches on the whole, well, what makes a good coach? Should you be in shape? Well, I can't relate as much to the people that don't have the confidence in the sport, because I'm very eccentric. So I try to play on that.
Yeah.
I try to make people feel that, because Leah touched on it as well. It's going to take time. You've got to be uncomfortable. I always use a really cheesy saying that the comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing grows there. Because we have to put ourselves in positions that we don't want to be in to grow. I've got one guy that Leah touched on, like how the women in her gym don't have to go through into this big scary area, but obviously at Pure Gym we do, and I've got a bloke that's exactly the same. He doesn't want to go through because of this big scary area. So again, it's our job to take that away. And I say, well, I have used so many times, I am your comfort blanket, I am your comfort zone, but we will grow and I will make you do it whilst I'm here so that you're exposed to it. Okay, you've got me as a fallback, but you're exposed to it. And then over time, when you ask me, well, how do you do it? You're going to do it yourself without even thinking.
Yeah. So if we were to answer the question, what are most people's goals, you know, going in, approaching people like us, or maybe considering working with people like us, it's not lose 5 kilos. No, it's not a weight loss thing typically, is it? Weight loss might be a function
it can be a
of building the
starting point,
confidence.
but I think it's more than that.
It's the lifestyle, it's the feeling, it's trusting that you are capable of doing something that you see other people do that you think could be for you, but you just need a little bit of help to get there.
I think we're in a beautiful position where they can start with this initial Yeah, I want to lose 5 kilos. Yeah, I want to look good for a holiday. But we're in the beautiful position that we can shape their goals as well. So we know where they want to go with it. We know the habits that are involved and the direction they need. But we can shape it to, like you said, instill in these foundations or that are going to make them continue the journey. And I think that's 9 times out of 10 what people actually need. They just don't know it when they start necessarily, and you can see that they want that confidence, they want that push, they want that guidance. And Leah touched on just having a plan. If outside the gym, ignore that. If we don't have a plan towards what we want to achieve, it's like this. Yeah, take the typical 9-5er that just rams, or the student that rams themselves into the work thinking that they're going to do an 8-hour stint and be productive. No way. If you sort of did 3 hours productivity, 1 hour, let the brain breathe, let the body breathe, and then hit another 3 hours of productivity, you get to the same end point in a shorter time. And you've done stuff that's beneficial for your health, be it physical, mental, emotional. So.
Across Apple Podcasts, Spotify and YouTube. Just using the kit that you see here, wherever I am in the world, each episode of Fitness and Thinking takes about 10 hours to put together. If you've enjoyed them, then I've got a favour to ask of you. It's not your money. It is just a second to like what you like. Maybe a couple of seconds to leave a comment on what you enjoyed, what you changed, what you might have asked the guests, and maybe to ask me to bring on somebody or to discuss a topic that you're interested in. The last thing is to subscribe if you haven't already. Most people will watch an episode, maybe watch a couple in a row, but not subscribe. Karl, given the amount of confidence that you have, talk to us about confidence. What is it when you think about it and how we help people with it?
It's really, really funny, actually, you say, given the confidence I have, because everybody that knows me would say the same. And I think it's important as a coach to show that confidence. But I go home, and I remember when I first met Leah, she was behind the desk, 9 till 5, like a lot of the clients I would have, right? And she would be sat there not talking to anyone all day, and I would be sat there speaking to people all day. I'd go home, and I'd be a zombie. And I'd be listening to her, and I'd just love listening to her and not actually responding. She goes, "Are you listening to me?" And I'm going, yeah. So it's like confidence in something that you have passion about is easy. It's really easy. So when you say talk about my confidence, it's really easy for me to be confident because I know I'm doing the job I love, I want to do, I have passion for. It's easy for me to go to work, and because I know that I'm always going to want to try and get someone to progress. And like I said, what is progress? It's not just, oh my God, I put an extra 25 kilo plate on the leg press. So I did this, that and the other in the gym. It's not, it's what you get from that. Like I just touched on the comfort zone. I put someone outside their comfort zone and they felt strong, they felt good, they felt proud of themselves. Like I said, the guy I touched on that doesn't go in the gym, when he first started with me, he would never allow me to compliment him or positive reinforcement, never. And I have a little weekly summary with all my guys, and one thing's highlighting successes. And one of his first response was, I'll never put a success. I'll always try and spin it negatively. This is the anxiety talking. I said, I am going to keep going and going and going until I break you. And now he's had a few comments from friends about his weight loss journey and a few comments from somewhere else. And he's going to the shop and buying tops that he wouldn't usually feel confident buying. And he's putting that on their weekly checks. And I'm at first, I'm just like, just look what you've done there. Just look what you've done there. And he's smiling. And we touch on it more and more to the point where it's a huge change in character. So my confidence comes from having that change in other people, if that makes sense.
100%.
Yeah.
I think, Leah, you've touched on it as well with the idea of the reason you wear the shorts is because you wear the shorts, but you wouldn't have done. And for you, Karl, it's this thing of you love your job, you know you make a difference. Yeah. When I think about confidence as a thing that people might have or might not have, it often comes from a place of competence, or if it's not from competence, then it's unearned and it'll catch them out. People might challenge them at a level where they'll need the competence to match that competence, and if it's not there, then they're going to be found out. So actually, if it's you've grown with it.
That's a really good point I wanted to actually talk about. I feel like a lot of people in the industry, their success is determined, as a coach, what we touched on earlier, by that exactly what you just mentioned there. I've always been in it, and I know I have a passion for it. So that allows me to be successful because people can see that. People, they can buy bullshit. So if you just go into it, I like training, and it's easy to do this job, like you just said there, it's not going to play out. And it's the little things like this where you just back yourself that little bit because you care. Like there's so many entrepreneurs or businesses that they don't do anything in the first couple of years and then boom, it grows. And that's almost how I see our job. Like if you have a genuine passion for it, people will breathe that. And then if nothing is changing with yourself, you've got to ask yourself, well, am I doing enough to see that change as well? So sorry to cut you off a little bit there, but yeah, that one I wanted to touch on that. That's kind of that, again, the confidence thing, the passion thing. That's what leads you towards doing a job, or like you said, having a niche that you know you're going to boom shove straight down. Like so with Leah and Women Confidence, she knows that she can get the best out of them because she's been there.
Yeah.
She's been there. She's been one of these women that didn't want to step foot in the door. Take it back to COVID. I mean, obviously, I know quite a lot about Leah. COVID actually helped her for the better because it got her out. Would you agree? It got you into it, maybe a little bit.
Not after COVID.
No, that's what I'm saying. It for the better
Yeah.
after COVID. It got you down this way where. So I have always been involved in sport and fitness. It's easy for me to exhale that, whereas you have not. So you've got two completely different perspectives on confidence and niches and coaching.
Yeah. Should we pick up on that then? So how you two met, but then your coaching journey would be dead interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Do you want me to go?
I'll summarise really quickly because I'm not as much to say. I've always been involved in sport. Knew I'd always coach. After uni, you get a little bit derailed, and came back to what I knew I needed to, and not looked back since. So it's been easy for me in that sense. Running your own business is not easy. Organisation, but the motivation's always there.
So I have never been in sport. I used to hate PE at school. I used to always try and get out of PE because why would I run around a muddy field in hockey boots and a long sleeve t-shirt in the mid of December, freezing cold, playing rugby? No, I just didn't want to do that. So I think PE at school is not what fitness can be. It's just that's what you have to do to, just one of the subjects at school. But always hated it. And then during COVID, I put on quite a bit of weight. And obviously, mood was just like down in the gutter, like most people's probably was, because I still was doing my office job. So I just like log on, sit down for 7 hours, log off, and then not really do much. And I'd like force myself to go for runs. I didn't enjoy it. I was just doing it because I thought that's what I needed to do because I'd eaten like a whole bag of crisps the night before. So I was like, oh yeah, I need to go and burn off these crisps that I've eaten. Yeah. And looking back, that was so negative. That's such a bad relationship with fitness and diet and everything. It's awful. And that's what I was just like in COVID. So I put on a bit of weight. And then after I was like, no, I need to do something about it because I was feeling so down in myself. And I was like, just blaming it on other factors that it could be. And I was like, actually, no, it's because I'm not happy with myself. So I need to be selfish and actually just put myself first and do something about it. So then I got a personal trainer at Pure Gym. And it was probably the best thing I did because then I got into fitness. I lost the weight that I wanted to lose. And then I was like, oh, how great would it be if I could do this for other women and make them feel that great about themselves? Because then I got to a point where I was confident in myself. I was enjoying coming to the gym. It wasn't a chore anymore. I'd like look forward to going to the gym. And my eating habits were so much better. I was like actually fueling my body rather than thinking I needed to eat crackers with tomato and cucumber. Honestly, I literally have a picture on my phone and I had 2 Rivita crackers with the tiniest smither of cream cheese, 2 slices of cucumber, 2 slices of tomato, and that would be my lunch. And really, that's ridiculous. It's like 150 calories. Like, what's that giving you, really? But now I know that I can eat carbs. I need carbs in my body. I can have X amount of calories if I'm moving enough for it. And I think now I have a much better relationship with food and fueling my body because of the sort of training I now do. But I think that comes with time and personal growth. And I think I'm now at a point where mentally and physically 100% feeling great, so I can then help other women do the same. But I think you have to be 100% in yourself to be able to help other people, because otherwise I think that reflects in your sessions, because you'll get people that come in that will be struggling with anxiety, or they'll have had depression, or they'll have had, they might have struggled with eating disorders in the past, or had, unhealthy relationships with food or fitness. So it's your job to pick them up. So if you aren't 100%, you have to come into that session and tell yourself, I need to be 100% for my clients because they are paying me for a service. And people think it's just personal training. It's not. It's so much more than that. Like, if they come in and they've had a really, can I swear? If they've had a really shitty day, it's your job to pick them up, you know, and it might be that they come in and they're like, I can't do this session, I'm not feeling great. And you're like, okay, give me 12 reps. And they're like, no, can't do it. It's your job to be like, yeah, you can. And you're going to do it because you know that the like endorphins that they will get from that session, they will go away and feel amazing. And the amount of clients that are like, I feel so much better for actually coming in. I feel so much better for getting out and getting some steps. And it's like, well, yeah, you will do. But it's our job to keep reminding them of that it doesn't have to be a chore. It will actually make you feel better and it boosts your mood.
I think this is what makes Leah such a great coach as well, because she's relatable, and even to now she probably doesn't realise it as much as she should or could. I remember you said, how did we meet? And I was literally just practicing a cycling class in the back of my best man now, in the back of his class that she was going to participate in, and that's how we sort of met. And then she actually attended one of my sort of high intensity swear functional fitness kind of classes, and she came and she was currently on this diet, this deficit from her coach, and she had no calories left in the day, and she was telling me about it. And she was going to have this serene bar, you know, these tiny little mini serene loaves,
like 90 calories,
89 calories,
like the malt loaf things.
Yeah, little malt loaf things. And she said, I didn't have it because I didn't have the calories for it. And I'm sat there in my head. Again, this is like the bridge between relating and not relating, or women confidence, or different goals. Leah's done it to obviously get in shape. That's what her coach has told her. You've got to be within this calories. And I'm like, that 90 calories would have made you feel less restricted, would have kept you going for the class. You would have worked harder. You would have burnt that 90 calories. You wouldn't have had this toxic idea of food. And instead she's gone home exhausted, not worked her body how she now does. Like, it's amazing seeing how she pushes her body from now to the entire time we've been together, the journey she's been through whilst as a couple. So obviously I can't touch on that too much because I'm a fiance. I can't say take too much of a coach's perspective, but the start point and the end point, it's not the end point, of course. I remember I always say I dragged her to Snowdon when we went to Snowdon together because there's no way Leah, when I met her, would have wanted to hike up Mount Snowdon. And now she's entering powerlifting competitions, Hyrox competitions for myself. So it's bonkers to think that she was scared of a serene loaf.
Yeah.
So back then, would she have been that person that could coach someone? No, but she's grown by being uncomfortable. She's grown by pushing her body. She's grown from doing the sessions she didn't want to do, and she's got them done, and now she's in the perfect position. Some people maybe feel selfish for looking after themselves, and Leah probably included, but she's earned that, and she's been more selfish, and now she's in the perfect position to help women the same position as her. If that answers.
I think so. Something that I found interesting with more years of experience of coaching is that in relationships, so friends, family, partners, there will come at some point the question of, will you coach me? And often, I would say more often than not, I knock people back.
Yeah.
Because I'll have to say to them, I charge an amount for this. If you do it for free, you won't do it at all.
Facts.
And if I coach you, there will be an element of our relationship where I will tell you what you need to do, and you will need to do it. And if you can't see me as that person in your life, then it's wasting both of our times.
Yeah.
And so either, yes, I will coach you and it's going to be for this specific amount of time, and then we move on, and hopefully you feel great and you can take it on yourself, or we don't do it. Don't worry about this conversation. I can introduce you to other people.
Yeah.
But this is a different dynamic to add to whatever it is that we've already got. I think it could improve your life for sure. I'm able to play both roles. But if you can't do that, then it could impact the relationship in a way that you don't expect. Do you have experience of that?
I feel with Leah, considering so when we went on the first date, our second date, in my head I was like, well, I'm going to go to the gym with this lass and see if I just physically attracted to her, as well as getting to know her on the date and stuff. I couldn't have that, let's say, capacity or ability to coach someone that I'm attracted to, because I do my job out of passion. As we've touched on this, I love my job, and I push people as hard as I can. If that is not my primary focus, I'm not doing them justice. I'm not doing them a service. If you've got an ulterior motive, that's not why I started PTing. I remember when I started PTing, people said, "Oh my God, you must have loads of women speaking to you, blah, blah, blah." I was like, I'm not bothered. I'm not there for that. And Leah actually said when she first met me, she told her friends she thought I was a fuckboy, excuse the language. I was like, what? Like, what? And ironically, that's how we met in the gym. Maybe Leah has obviously different opinions on it, but I wouldn't feel comfortable if like you said, like you charge for this service, you want to push them. And there's the level of empathy I have for all my guys at the moment has to be completely client focused. If I have any different form of empathy for that person, it's not giving them the same value that we've already touched on. And I know Leah resents me trying to help her sometimes, but I think she appreciates it. So maybe like that touches on what you think of the...
No, I do agree. I think when I had my personal trainer, so obviously before I got my qualification, this was when me and Karl had started dating. I remember when we started dating, all my friends were like, "Oh, well, if he's a PT, why doesn't he just be a PT?" And I would always say no, because I came to the gym because I wanted to focus on myself. I didn't come to the gym looking for a partner. It just happened. At this point, I deleted all my dating apps and I was like, no. I was like, I'm happy being single. I need to sort myself out. So I'd come to the gym to focus on myself. So if then I were to, sack off the PT that's helped me get to the point and where I was feeling good in myself because I've started dating a personal trainer, for me, that changes the reason why I was going.
For sure.
And obviously now it's different because, well, obviously we're getting married and we've done a Hyrox together and we do train together, but it's for different reasons. It's because it's something we enjoy doing together now. Whereas initially when I started, if that was the case, I think it would be for different reasons, and I didn't want that to be the case in that matter. Like, I was coming for myself to work on myself, so I think that's how it had to remain. But yeah, even now when Karl gives me advice, sometimes I'll like roll my eyes, but it's just because it's like when it's your partner, you don't want to listen to them in a sense. So that's as well why it wouldn't work if he was my personal trainer, because I would just be like that and I wouldn't get anything from it because I'd just be like, oh, shut up. But Karl definitely has more knowledge on things, so when he does help me, obviously I do appreciate it, and I'll probably do a little eye roll, but I do appreciate it, and I will tailor that into my training if he's giving me something. But yeah, I think sometimes you do have to compartmentalize things, keep things a little bit. That's a big word for me. That was
buzzword.
Yeah.
That's the right one though. Yeah.
But yeah, you do have to keep things separate, in my opinion. It probably works for other people, but because everyone's also like, oh, well, you and Karl are getting married, maybe you should open your own gym together. And for me, I don't think it would work because we have very different coaching styles. And I think our clients are very different as well. But for me, that's okay. It's like we don't have to do everything together. Like, we have things that we enjoy doing together, but then there's certain things that just stay separate, and that's okay.
Yeah. There are two things that I want to push with, but they're kind of very different.
Okay.
So the opening a gym together seems quite funny as an idea. It feels to me like a three-legged race. So my dad and his best mate signed up to do a three-legged marathon because they were both good at marathons. Okay. And they hated each other by the end of this three-legged race. So I think there is, in that very obvious example, literal example, if you try too hard to fall in step, then actually you're just going to break whatever it was that was good. Yeah. So I would tend to agree with you there. The other bit would be, given that so many people are going to go into the gym and maybe so many people will be on dating apps that are watching this, as a space to meet people, as a space potentially to meet other people and to set up going on a date, the gym is going to be a controversial or an appropriate or whatever your adjective is space where that could potentially happen, particularly if we think that people work 9 to 5, go to the gym, go home. The gym might be the only safe space, so to speak, for a lot of people. Given that it's the only safe space, do people want to be approached? How could people talk to other people? Could we navigate this minefield together?
Wow.
I think it'll be interesting because we'll probably have different perspectives, you being a man in the gym, me being a woman. I think I didn't really even approach you. I knew Chris, so your best man. I just got talking to him a little bit because he worked at the gym as a fitness instructor at the time. So me and my friend that would go, we sort of knew him, we were just chatting to him. So I kind of approached you through him, and then my friends asked Sid, who also works at the gym, if Karl was single. So it wasn't like I approached Karl specifically. I sort of went in a roundabout way because I was like, heaven forbid he knows I fancy him. But I think it really depends. I think it's hard to gauge because one of my clients, this guy approached her and she thought it was really creepy. And whether his intentions were genuine or not, like, I'm not sure. But I think some women find it creepy because they just want to come in. And again, that leads into the confidence thing. If they're not 100% confident and a man comes up to them in the gym, they might be like, no, leave me alone. I'm just here to do my session. But I think if they have good intentions, I think it can be a nice space to meet someone, because if it's a common interest, I think I would always go for that over meeting someone on a dating app, because you never really know who the person is on a dating app. And it's all just based on, you have these 5 pictures you look at and you think, oh, do I fancy him or not? No, okay, bye. But when you come into the gym, like, I think you see them training, and if they're training something that you enjoy, you might be both training legs, for example, and it just gives you like a bit of a talking topic, and then you've already met in person. So I think then if you were to arrange a date, it already feels a bit more natural because you've spoken to them in person, so you know the conversation flows, which I don't think you get from just texting somebody all the time. It's a tricky one for women. I think there's a fine line between it being creepy and a man just genuinely being a nice guy and asking you on a date. But I think that comes from the whole, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, the whole rep that men get in a commercial gym. I think the whole big scary men vibes, women come into the gym and think that all men are the same, and they're not.
I think you touched on intentions. I think you can never truly know anyone's intentions, whether they're good, whether they're bad. In terms of, obviously, is it a space for people to meet? This is a problem, because some people, I know a lot of guys that go to the gym because they're stuck behind the 9 to 5, and that's their social time, that's their community time. Like you've touched on, your women having a community, so they're allowed this community. Completely agree. But obviously in commercial gyms this is the same. So a lot of my guys enjoy the classes. So like there's 4 or 5 of my clients that go to one of mine in particular because they all know each other, they all feel confidence for these reasons. So building this community, which is really important. But on a dating or meeting people perspective, that if they're stuck behind their desk all day, when are they going to get to meet people? It is way more organic to meet people in person, and that's dying out a little bit because of the apps. And I'm not saying that they can't be successful, but like Leah said, like if you've already seen a little bit about them, you can already somewhat see their intentions. How they hold themselves around the gym, let's say, you can quickly gauge whether they are this big scary unapproachable man, or if they are someone that's just there to focus on improving themselves, or they're passionate about the gym, they're passionate about their health, their fitness, or if it's they just want to look good and they're checking themselves out. You know, like I personally cringe at this, and I think a woman would be far more qualified to see that as well. And then it gives you the opportunity. Let's not say it's right or wrong to approach people or not to approach people in a gym. It gives you the opportunity to explore that avenue. If that is something that you're in the gym for, then happy days. It shouldn't be one-dimensional why you go to the gym. Yeah, I've already touched on physical, mental, emotional. If it's dating, it shouldn't be one-dimensional. Like Leah said, it would be far nicer for us to have met in the gym than on an app, and other people might have different beliefs. But it's definitely a space that gives this opportunity. It's just the way you go about it if you are going to approach someone.
For sure.
I think it's just be humble, be genuine, appreciate their personal spaces or opinion of that in a gym situation. Because the other thing is, you might be anxious about approaching that person, and just messaging someone online might still come across creepy to someone. You've been watching me in the gym, what? So it all ties down to what Leah said about confidence and how you are in yourself. I know if Leah had not focused on herself, we would not have been as well.
We probably won't be together.
We wouldn't be together. She'd not worked on herself.
No.
We would not have had this same bond, this same togetherness with a lot of the things we do if she hadn't. So for us, it's helped massively. For other people, I'd say, and then the other thing is, what's to say every relationship that you come across is going to be perfect? You have to go through, let's say, heartbreaks, or like we said, which in the gym, outside your comfort zone, same as in your relationships, same as in your dating life. You've got to go through that to grow. Yeah. There's a concept that your first love is just like your childhood love. The second love is where you learn a lot. The third is the one that often leads to better things, let's say. So if that helps you on your journey, meeting someone in the gym and making that mistake, then why does it matter if you learn from it?
I like that. The gym is a place to fail. Like, failure is baked into what we do, particularly if we're thinking about building muscle or we're thinking about setting personal best. We'll either beat it or we won't. And, you know, do we become better as a result of not getting it first time? That's a lovely metaphor. I was going to build on your point. So I'm not sponsored, but I wouldn't mind being with this one. Noise cancelling headphones. If I've got these in and I'm in the middle of my set, don't talk to me. It doesn't matter who you are. Don't talk to me. If I'm moving an amount of weight and you come into my eye line and start waving, I could potentially drop the weight on you, on me, damage the machine, whatever. If you're going to talk to someone in the gym, do not do it when they're working out and they're focusing on doing often the thing that they're there to do, which is to work on themselves. So I would say that as a safe idea, maybe catching people at the end of their set. So, you know, moving away from whatever it is that they're on, particularly if it's busy, they might have waited 5-10 minutes for this piece of kit and they probably just want to get it done. Or one of my mates suggested to me, you know, if you're on the way out, you see that they're on the way out, you know, obviously you're going in different directions, don't hang around, don't loiter. But if it's at the end of the session or they're just coming in, so there's less time pressure on that, then maybe that's a nice moment to say hello. But I've heard it in the other direction that people have changed their hair colour because of how much attention they were getting, for instance.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, like, it is a minefield. I think good intentions, be honest, and maybe it's a case of seeing a person over time. And Leah, you can maybe talk to this in a way that Karl and I can't. The notion that through a natural cycle, you might be more or less attracted to people based on where your hormones are up to and, you know, whether they're more masculine, you know, their jawline sharper at a time of month, that might work for you. And then softer looking, usually after ovulation, that's more attractive. Stuff like this. So actually, if you're trying to gauge whether you're attracted to a person, you should see them multiple times before you commit to them. And in the gym, there is a nice organic space where over time you say, hello, how are you doing? Can I use that after you? You know, it's just these little interactions over time and you can go, oh, maybe this is somebody that I could say hello to, or, you know, go on a date with, or be friends with, or whatever. So it doesn't have to be all or nothing at the moment of seeing them.
Yeah.
The gym allows for the fact that you might see each other more than once. Is that fair to say?
Yes. I was just going to say, I think what you said about like your natural cycles and at certain points you'll be attracted to different things. I have been on the contraceptive injection for like nearly 10 years now. So really, I don't know what my natural cycle is. So it's interesting you asked me about that, but I wouldn't be able to give you an answer on it because I'm not sure, because I'm not aware of my cycle, because I don't really have one, because I don't, you know, with me being on the injection. But what you said about seeing someone multiple times, I think especially with the gym, everyone's like, oh, it's not a fashion show, like why do you care what you're wearing? And it's like, I don't wear a matching gym set for other people. I wear it because it makes me feel good and that's what I want to wear. Or I'll do my hair a certain way because going to the gym, that's part of like, used to be part of my routine. It's like, right, I'll do my hair this way, I'll put this outfit on, because in my mind, if I feel good, then I'm going to have a better session for it because my mindset is there, my mindset's better. But actually, when you go to the gym, I'm all here for, you're not going to look the best when you're at the gym. You're probably going to be pulling a face if you're going for a really difficult rep. You're going to be sweaty, like you might smell a little bit because you've been sweating. So really, I think if you're attracted to somebody when you're in the gym, then when you see them outside the gym, you're probably still going to be attracted to them because you've probably seen them not looking their best.
100%.
Because we don't go to the gym to look great. Like, yeah, if you feel like you look great, good. You're probably feeling better in yourself. But yeah, there's been some gym sessions and me and Karl have been like, we both stink.
I think that's really interesting as well because it is perspective. Like, not we went through a few training sessions a while back where it was like normalizing the gym faces, if you remember.
Yeah.
It's normalizing gym faces. So Leah says, well, you don't go to for other people for you to look good, but then a lot of people do go. So it's perspective. And like you touched on failure, I say to a lot of my guys, it is literally okay to fail, but I don't want to fail. Well, that's why you're there. But no, but like Karl, you said you've got to do this technique right, you've got to do that technique right. You'll probably know I'm a bit of a stickler for technique. But it comes to a point where there's intensity that's key as well, and there's failing, else you're not really pushing yourself, and you don't learn that much. On the woman's side of the things, I've got a lot of female clients throughout the time I've worked there. I think it's more about a guy considering this or knowing enough about that to appreciate you're not so necessarily going to know when a woman is on their cycle or around their cycle or the phases of cycle, but as a man or as a bloke that goes to the gym, as a coach or just a general person, it's our responsibility to appreciate that they have them phases, because we don't have to experience that. As long as like you said, I've been approachable, I've considered personal space, I've not gone up to them when they're in the middle of the set pulling some funny faces or when they've got the headphones on that they're dialed in. As long as I've respected that, the time of the month or the time of the cycle or their mood that week will reflect if they appreciated how you handle the situation and they're for the same reason as you, it could work out.
There's something that I want to pick up on, I think, in the gym for just a little bit longer before we take it out of the gym, because as you say, it's the balance that makes all of this worthwhile. We have looked into the cycle, we have applied it to clients, we have data to suggest that there are better times in a person's cycle to push and to pull back.
Yeah.
And we have had to do that from a position of not having had it or not being exposed to the notion of contraceptive or how that might change performance, you know? So it's almost a case of where men might perceive, where people who don't have a cycle might perceive a disadvantage in having to learn it. Like, you know, the women's only gym is so that women know that women get it, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And men aren't in that space. But the majority of my clients are female.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of my clients trust that I understand to a level, to an extent, that there are going to be different moments for them. And I think something that's interesting, but I've not had to confront, and maybe you two have had the discussion, is why is it that we might use gender as a reason for going with a coach rather than knowledge, experience, proven results? Do you think it is just as they are more similar looking to me, therefore they're going to be better for me? What do we think's going on there? And Leah, why did you choose a female coach over a male one, for instance?
I think I personally chose a female coach because one of my friends had her. So it was mainly through a recommendation. But also I think I looked at her and was like, wow, I want to look like that. So I think that was just the main driving force with that. But I think all my clients are female. I've not had a male client. And I think it's probably because I'm going to say a more womanly touch. I have a softer approach. I'm very softly spoken, very calm and collected. And I think that's why women who are a bit anxious and a bit nervous come to me. Because generally I think men, especially the men at our pure gym, they have a little bit more energy. They can shout a little bit louder. They're more higher energy. And I think it comes down to what you're looking for. And I think people might pick a woman over a man or a man over a woman without necessarily consciously thinking about it. Mm-hmm. It's probably more so what that person is about. We have people that identify as non-binary. So you wouldn't go to them because you're wanting a specific gender person. So I think it comes down to more so you're picking the person because of their morals and their qualities.
And how comfortable you feel with that person.
Rather than, they're a woman, so I'm going to pick them. I think it's more so, am I going to feel comfortable with that person? Yeah. But that's why you have the consultations. I always say to people, it's literally just a chance for you to come in and have a chat. There's no pressure with it. It's just to see if we're going to be a good match for each other, to see if you like my vibe and to ask any questions. Because if you've not met someone before and then you pay them for personal training, you come in, you think, oh, actually, this person isn't for me. I'm not going to be offended by that because I think there's a personal trainer for everybody. And a client that comes to me will come to me for different reasons than they would go to Karl, for example. So I don't think there's a right or wrong, and I don't think people necessarily consciously pick someone because of their gender. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
I think it's very important for us, regardless of our niche, to be very transparent with how we plan on coaching. So you've said yourself there, we as men have a duty of care or responsibility to understand those phases of a woman's cycle. If they feel comfortable to come to us for coaching, then it's our responsibility to be able to offer as much comfort back as they perceive they're going to get. And because of my style, like Leah says, I do shout a lot, I do motivate through energy, but that doesn't work for everybody. So it's my responsibility to be adaptable. And if I have a woman that's at that point of her cycle that her hormones could be all over the place, it's understanding that and having the empathy, but without dwelling on it as well. So like, they're not with me because of my care, they're with me because of what they've already started with me. But it's just offering enough care, enough knowledge, and enough understanding of, okay, if we tailor that program down a little bit this week, it makes sense to, because I push on my guys' intensity and effort and consistency and adherence. I say to them, it doesn't matter what exercise I give you if there's no intent. But then they always seem surprised when I say, right, this week we're going to tone it down, whether it's a woman on a cycle or whether it's a busy 9-5 going through a lot of stress or a lot of anxiety or a lot of family issues, whatever it is. You can apply it to anything. But let's stay with the women's cycle. If it is around their cycle, their energy levels, like you said, in terms of attraction, are heightened at that point, it may be a beneficial time to train. They could be stronger, etc. But every woman is different as well. So Leah's obviously on contraception. Some other women will be. Other women will be on different forms of contraception. That all their hormones are constantly changing. It's understanding that and allowing that, and allowing your body to recover from that. Yeah. So my degree was massively based around the science behind sport, the science behind exercise. So when they see me saying, "You got to work harder, you got to fail," and they go, "Well, Karl, why do I have to stop when I've still got so much more to give?" Because you'll thank yourself when you are experiencing what a woman may experience that we can't fully relate to.
Yeah.
If that ties into the...
I think so. And I'll end it potentially on a sharp point, a controversial point.
Okay.
I would argue that we know more than coaches with cycles about the cycle, and that there are men, there are women, there are non-binary folk. Everybody could benefit from learning how the cycle works.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to guess that 99.9% of people have someone in their life if they don't themselves have a cycle. So why wouldn't you just open a book and go, this is what I've noticed in myself or in this person who I care about, and maybe we can work with that. Maybe we can enjoy that. You know, we don't critique it, we don't have negative aspersions about this thing that may not be our experience, or you know, it's just one of those where why not take the time to learn about the body. And one of my favorite books of all time is this one, which just has so many illustrations across different bodies of the muscles that you work. It's like you're in the gym, you're going to feel all of these muscles. Why wouldn't you like learn the names of them? Why wouldn't you understand what a stretch and a squeeze is for them? You know, you eat food. Why wouldn't you understand digestion? You drive a car, you understand how to start the engine. You know, it's that level of care and detail. I think we're all capable of more of it, but don't assume that just because somebody looks like how you'd want to be or looks closer to you, that they know exactly what you need to know. Yeah. Maybe at some point you will need to work with a coach, but you'd also benefit from opening a book yourself.
100%. It always comes down to motive of the person of interest. Let's say coming to us, whether it's PT, whether it's stepping foot into the gym or outside of the gym, it comes down to what they want from that. You mentioned earlier about balance. See our balance as a coach, at me, Leah, woman's, man's perspective, how we are just normal folk. And if someone's watching this that doesn't go to the gym to know all these names of muscles and understand that, they maybe see, well, actually that could benefit me because they go out and, I mean, I fucking love pasta, for example. You know, like, oh my God, you must have chicken and rice, fish and veg. And no, I absolutely love cheese. I absolutely love pasta. If you've not seen my chronicles of cheese on Instagram since Leah got me an advent calendar with cheese, oh my God, you're a PT, you can't do that. So if I am relatable, if Leah's relatable about those aspects, anybody can pick up the book, like you say. But what gets them to pick up the book? Well, let's explore that.
We can do our best with our passion to kind of spark somebody else's, but they still need to breathe it. Yeah. You know, there's no flame without oxygen and that initial. Yeah. So with that, obviously the gym might not be their everything. I'm picking up this book, which by the way is £2, £3 on World of Books secondhand. It is amazing. I would recommend it to everyone. That comes maybe from 2 years of being in the gym. Yeah. And loving it and seeing your body change and going, oh, okay, cool. Like I didn't know that I had a brachialis. Yeah, yeah. What's going to hit that, you know, and learning that?
I think it's not necessarily the names of muscles, it's about understanding the body, feeling the body,
It's
what
the
your
feeling.
body's changing, how it's changing, why it's changing. Like you said, you've got to have that curiosity. If you go into the gym and you obviously have this initial, I want to look this certain way, I feel like if people see, so for example, we touched on earlier as coaches, our styles, if people see that we are normal people and how PTs or coaches have developed over time, and it's not just this massive guy that can make you work really hard, then they will be way more inclined to want to understand about the body. I feel like even the time I've coached, more and more people are becoming curious about the gym. So for example, last year on Boxing Day, I opened up the gym and there was a queue of people outside. Years before that, there was nobody in the gym on Boxing Day because they're just not bothered. But more and more people are becoming like, okay, I've sat down all Christmas, I've ate and indulged, and sometimes it's out of guilt, but now it's becoming more like, I want to get out, I want to breathe some fresh air, I want to do something before I go and do it all again. And that's perfectly okay. I will be, Leah will be, like we'll be having wine, cheese, whatever. But people are getting out, whether it's to get away from the family as well. But people are getting out, so I feel like the onus of gyms is changing. Why people are going to gyms is training. It is changing. I don't personally train for aesthetics. Whether that seems like a lie or not, there's always that underlying, I want to look better. I don't train so it's easy. I don't train for aesthetics, so it's easy for me, really easy for me. But more, I do feel more and more people are doing it for how they feel rather than. So then that, again, like you said, that's 2 years for you. They're starting, or they've got that want to know, it will unfold. Like I said, like we are just normal people as well.
Yeah.
So if that's depth and that comes from years of doing the gym, what's breadth? Maybe Leah, you were going to touch on that, unless I've thrown you under the bus again. Go on, where are
You're
you
using
going to
big
go?
words and I'm like, I don't understand what that means. No, I was just going to touch on something what Karl said about training for aesthetics and sort of having balance. And I think it's great to have an aesthetic goal, but I feel like for me now, once I've got to that aesthetic goal, I'm like, okay, great, I feel good. What now?
What now?
And it's almost like I'm bored. I need something more with more value, with more reward than just looking good. And that sounds so arrogant the way I've just said that, but it's like when we went on holiday, like I did a little cut for holiday, and I felt really good. But then when you're on holiday, you indulge, you enjoy yourself. So I came back weighing a little bit more than I went on holiday. It's like all that hard work just to look good for a week of your holiday. It's like
A few photographs online.
Yeah, for a few photos. And it's like, obviously we're getting married next year, so that is a different goal. Obviously for your wedding, you want to look good, you want to feel good in my dress. But I know with the style of training we're now doing, the aesthetics will just come naturally. Yeah. If I tidy up my diet and what I'm eating, the aesthetics will come from that, because the sort of training we're doing is so intense. And I think coming down to like balance and being relatable, some of my clients don't move as much as I do. And it's sort of like the calories they're on is much lower than what I'm on. So I never mention like the sort of calories that I eat with my clients, because I don't want them to be like, well, why can't I eat that much? And it's because your lifestyles are completely different, and that's what it comes down to. It's like if you did X, Y, and Z, you would be able to eat this amount of calories. But I think it's helping them understand that. And especially if their goal is weight loss, it's like a calorie deficit comes from eating less or moving more, or a mix of both. So depending how active you are, that's when you have to be a bit more tidy with your nutrition. So I like to be relatable, but also to the point where, look, this is my lifestyle. I am very active, so I can do X, Y, and Z at the weekend and it not affect my weight or how I look too much. So it's being relatable, but it's also reminding yourself that you are their coach and you do need to be real with them about it. But I'm all here for no restrictions. I'm never going to tell a woman you can't eat something, because that just builds bad relationship.
You want to be coached, you want to be relatable, but your lifestyle enables you to do things that your clients can't. What is your lifestyle?
So I actually think this was one of the points we were going to touch on. Like, would we be as active if we weren't personal trainers? Yeah. For me, no, I wouldn't be at all. Before I did my qualification, I was 9 to 5, would do about 3,000 steps. Like, yeah, my diet was horrific. Rest days, I wouldn't get any more steps in because I didn't want to. I didn't want to go out and get into the fresh air. But now I think it's also a mindset change. Yes, I am active because I'm a personal trainer, so I'm lucky in that sense because I am on my feet. I can get my 10,000 steps without thinking about it. we have a dog, so you walk the dog, you get more steps in. So yes, there's elements of my life that allow me to be that active, but it's also a choice.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will choose to just go out for a walk because mentally my brain is foggy, so I just need some fresh air. So I think it's making those choices to be more active if your job doesn't allow for it. But also the style of training we're doing. Like we've got another Hyrox coming up in March. So training for that, it just forces you to be active because you've got so many different elements of that race you need to prepare for. So you have to get a run in, you have to get your sprints in, you have to get conditioning, you also have to get your strength work in there. So without even thinking about it, I am far more active. But again, it does come down to a choice because I want to do those things. So I think your job and that you're in, your lifestyle, yes, can come into how active you are, but I think you can always choose to be more active. I think you always have time in a day to go out for a 15-minute walk. So it's when clients are like, oh, I didn't have time to do any steps today. I'm like, yes, you do. Like, you do have time. Granted, if you work 12-hour shifts, you probably don't have as much time that day. But I think on your lunch break, you're telling me you've not got 10 minutes to go and get some fresh air. Because it's not just about being active in the gym. It's those days where you're not at the gym. The gym for some people is 2-3 times a week. It's what you're doing on those other days to keep that activity up. Yeah.
The everything else, isn't it?
Yeah, it literally is, which makes up for like more of it, I would say, than your gym sessions. They obviously help, but if you're just ticking off 2 gym sessions a week and then the other days you're not doing any steps, you're not being accurate with your nutrition, then it's like you're not going to see that progress, or you might do, but it's going to be super slow. So it's helping people understand that as well. Like if you're not going to do everything I ask of you, you are going to see progress, it's going to be slower. And if you're okay with that, then that's fine. If you want to go out drinking with your friends every week, do that, but your progress isn't going to be as quick as you want it. So I think as long as you're real with people and you say, yes, you can still do X, Y, and Z, but it's going to take you this amount of time to see those results. If you're okay with that, then that's fine. Because everybody's different, aren't they? Not everyone wants to be at the gym 5 times a week. Not everyone does have time to do 15,000 steps. So it's just, you have to work on a client-to-client basis and what their lifestyle is like. Because I have one lady and she does 4 12-hour shifts. So for her on those days, she's not going to want to come to the gym at 7 p.m. when she's just worked 12 hours. But those days she will get her steps in. So she just has to be more mindful with her food on those days.
I think it's really interesting, like you've answered there, no, I wouldn't be more active if I wasn't a coach yourself. And it almost now unlocks Leah's balance, if that makes sense. So you ask us, well, what is balance, or would you be more active as if you weren't a coach? Well, no, she wouldn't. So then she wouldn't have as much balance. So if we all had that mindset, when that's our job to, you touched on understanding of, well, it's going to be more patient progress. If we all had that understanding, or had someone like ourselves that can hopefully teach them that understanding of, okay, it unlocks so much more. If I haven't got as much time, inverted, for the camera, if I haven't got as much time to do the things you're asking of me, then I haven't not earned, because that sounds bad, but earned that luxury of indulging in that lush Italian restaurant and glass of wine, etc. Or so like Leah now, like if she wouldn't be able to enjoy all the things she can enjoy, well, she could, of course she could. If she was still like 9 to 5, sat down and can't be able to go out and do it, it's as simple as that.
Would you be interested in Hyrox if it weren't for coaching? How natural a progression does that feel to you? Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think so. I don't think if I was coaching or had been training for this amount of time before Hyrox, I mean, obviously it's so popular, it's crazy, like it's just blown up. I think if I wasn't already in the fitness industry, I probably wouldn't be bothered, because I'd be like looking at, like most people do, like, why on earth would you want to do that? Like, it looks like hell. Why would you pay that much money to do that? That's what all my friends that aren't into the gym are saying to me. Like, why would you do that for fun? But me 5 years ago wouldn't have. No. I couldn't have been any worse, because me 5 years ago, wouldn't have been able to run a 1K without having to stop. And it's now I can do a 5K without stopping, and I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
It's really funny, because halfway around our Hyrox, we turned around to each other and said, why on earth have we done this to ourselves? And then Leah's booked her solos on her own in March, and she goes, I'm so glad I booked that before this because it's horrendous. I would not have done it if I hadn't had already booked it, or I would have changed my mind. And it just goes to show like what the body's capable of, how much Leah has grown in this particular example. On the same day, we was stood there with another bloke that was cheering his missus on. We was looking at going back to the aesthetics. We was like, her legs look fantastic, strong. She
really
looks so strong, like powerful. And the bloke, we got talking to the bloke, and he goes, yeah, she just gave birth to my little boy 3-4 months ago. And I'm like, wow. So we put this restraint on ourselves. Like, we can't do this, we can't do that. We can. We just got to put one foot one foot in front of the other, and however long it takes you to get there, whether it's 5 years for Leah going from office job to Hyrox, or whether it's a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, as long as we're heading in that direction, and we have a direction.
Are you two better for doing it, do you think? Was it a good experience as a couple to do a Hyrox?
Oh, 100%. I was like, I'm proper fanboy in Leah now. I'm fangirling Leah. She said earlier about fangirling all her guys at the gym, and that's what some clients want. They want that fanboy as well, or fangirl. Whilst we was going round, I was like so proud of her because it sounds like dead cheesy, but I know all the science of why is my heart rate up here. Like, what I'm doing is I'm doing this pace. Why is my heart rate at 90% when I'm actually talking to Leah? I shouldn't be able to talk to Leah if it's so hard. And Leah's like, or she's responding back to me. So I say, Leah, even though your heart rate's at 90%, you're responding to me. We're good, and we're pushing each other, and it's just like this really nice. You know how you said about attraction earlier? Like, it's even more attractive to see us. It's just like when we're both fucked, pushing each other, picking each other up, like pulling each other along. Like on the run, for example, I would probably be not in an arrogant way, the stronger run, so it made sense for me to go first on the station and go last on the station, so Leah had that chance to recover. After the first 2 or 3 stations, I was like, Leah, help me out, and she did. And like I said, that pushing each other to your limits, like Leah that long ago, no way would have thought twice, but now she's like, I'm going to push myself and you to get this done. And I saw her halfway around once we made that comment. I said, wait, I'm just happy to finish this, never mind have the time that we wanted to get. And then they get to like 2 stations left, and in my head I'm like, right, I know we're on for a good time here. I didn't tell Leah, I just go, Leah, I'm picking it up now. And she goes, and the euphoria we got when we finished, it sounds dead cheesy, but like you've just done a Hyrox. It's not the Hyrox itself, it's what you do, the training you go through, the adherence, the consistency, pushing yourself to the limit, testing yourself, and then the feeling at the end. Like, we both like leaped up in the air when we saw his time and almost dragged her over the finishing line. Like, it was emotional. It was emotional, the sense of pride. I couldn't have done that one with anyone else really on that first go kind of thing. That's what it gives you, like it's all worthwhile, and it just makes you want that feeling all over again. So Leah not being into sport or fitness growing up, and me being in, I knew that I love competition. I love it. Everyone that knows me knows I love competition. And people that don't get me think it's an arrogance. It's not. It's a strive to do better for everybody. So when we saw that time, the next thing in my head is, let's do this again. Granted, we moped into Birmingham city centre, finding some food and drinks that we didn't even really go all out, but like the crash was insane. And then you're just like, right, let's just get back on that horse, let's go again. So yeah.
You're glad you did it?
Very, very glad. And obviously got my solo booked for March. And like Karl was saying, I'm glad I did book it before we did our doubles. But because tickets sell out so quick, so you just have to decide in that moment if you're going to do it or not, because the tickets just go. So I was like, Joe, what the hell? I'm just going to book it, because if in my mind, if I've got something booked, I will do it. Yeah. And that then gives me the motivation. So it's like, if I didn't have it booked, I'd be forever sitting there like, oh, should I not do it? But now I've booked it, I'm like, well, I'm doing it. And obviously when I did it with Karl, we did the doubles, so I had to do the men's weights. Yeah. So also in my head, I was like, right, if I can do the men's weights for like half the distance, I can do the women's weights because they're lower. And granted, I have to do the full distance, but I was like, but it's less weight. And I think as well, the solos for me, I feel like it's going to be a mental game, because 100 wall balls is not for the weak. Like having to count to 100 and then until you're finished, and that is the last station. So at this point, your whole body is just fried. But for me, I think that's what I want. I want to prove to myself that I can do it. And in that moment where there's nobody pulling me along, that I can say to myself, no, you've got this, you can do it. because I think that's a whole different thing when it comes down to a mental game rather than physically. I know I'll be able to do it, but mentally it's being strong enough to like push yourself along. But I also think it's just incredible how many people have got into it, and it wasn't, this is why I love it, because you don't have to be a certain shape or size, you don't have to weigh a certain amount, like literally anyone can do it. There was people doing it that were finishing in 59 minutes, people were taking 2.5 hours, like it didn't matter because they were doing it for their own reasons. And this one guy, he was on the lunges and you could just see in his face he wanted to go home, he wanted to give up, and he was really struggling, bless him. But even the judges were like clapping him along, encouraging him. Everybody watching was like clapping him, being like, you've got this, you can do it. So the whole environment was so supportive. Because I think in my mind, I was like, oh my God, when I rock up, everyone's going to have 6 packs, be completely stacked. Granted, a lot of people were. But also, a lot of people were just ordinary people. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, they were just regular people that wanted to do something good for themselves and challenge themselves. And I think that's why it's so amazing. And it'll probably last a couple of years and there'll be a new fitness trend that people are hopping on. But I think it's amazing. I think if people are getting into fitness, whatever form of fitness that may be, if you are moving your body and trying to better yourself, then I think it's amazing.
I think it's really beneficial she's mentioned this, because we actually booked it whilst we was in Greece on holiday, indulging in gyros and wine. And Leah said, I'm just going to book it. And it's you can tie that into everyone that has a coach or everyone that wants to get started in the gym, that even us as PTs will go through waves of lacking motivation, lacking plan, lacking direction. Leah mentioned earlier, we mentioned about the holiday, having this aesthetics goal, and was like, great, what now? So whilst we're there, filling us face with gyros, going, oh, fuck it, let's just book it. And we booked it, and then boom, your head's on the second you've booked it. You don't have a choice. So what I mentioned about having a plan, it's so key, and it just switches you on and you follow the plan. And whether it's a good plan or it's a bad plan, you've got a plan. And you're heading in the direction that you want to head, and you can learn from that. So I've got a buddy that's done Hyrox, loads of them, and he says what he loves the most about it is you can analyse where you went wrong and analyse what you could do better and be proud of what you did well. And that's that competitive nature, that's that plan, that's that what it can give so many people. Like Leah said about the mental side of things, yeah, like I knew I like that struggle. So like getting going for me is the hard bit. When I'm struggling, I love that feeling. And that's the sport in me since a kid. So I knew that when Leah was struggling, that's my time to shine. And when I'm struggling, I'm going to lean on her, because that's what we're there for. Yeah. And if everyone has this broader perspective on fitness, they would see they're so capable of so much more within fitness. Like, so I'm doing one the same day as Leah. She's doing it in the afternoon. I'm going to fangirl her, cheer her on, and I'm in the morning, because I wasn't going to. On that day, I was literally just going to be chauffeur. But then after the competition, I was like, God, I got to do that. So we booked one with a client, and that's so rewarding for me that I've got a bloke that couldn't think of anything worse than stepping foot in a gym from 3 years ago. And now he's going to be stepping foot in a Hyrox competition and pushing his body to the limits.
Class for having you on the sofa, in the living room, maybe for one of the last times in 2025.
Wow.
Where do you want to send people from here?
I'm not much of a social whiz kid, but you can find me on Instagram anyway, K Finch Fitness. Personal tag Karl Finch, or just mooch on down to Sheffield City South. Get to meet me in person, break that barrier, and get started.
Yes. I'm also still at Pure Gym City South, so you can find me there. My Instagram tag is Leah Brooks Fitness, and then obviously coaching at Enhance as well, so go and give Enhance a follow. Enhance Coaching on Instagram. Hannah at the owner of Enhance is amazing, so also give her a follow, and come try us out.
Amazing.
So that's it. You don't need to send any money my way. I'm not asking for a cent or penny or peso from you. It is just to let me know that what we're doing is worthwhile. And maybe, as a last bit, to introduce a friend or family member or partner to what it is that we do. Unless, of course, we're going to keep this as our little secret.